Good morning, digital mentors. Welcome to your morning wake up call on October 11th, this beautiful fall morning. I don't know about you, but I am so happy for this shift in weather. It feels like such a blessing, and I know it happens every year, but I'm in Texas and the summers here are just relentless. So I feel very grateful to be here this fall with you. Thank you guys for showing up for this call this morning. We are going to kick things off here in just a minute. If you're tuning in, go ahead and leave me a comment and let me know that you're here so I can say hello. Good morning, Elizabeth. I'm so glad that you're here. If you're watching this, go ahead and let me know in the comments one, where you're watching from, and also what you're working on in your digital mentor business right now. What are you building? Are you creating a lead magnet? Are you in the depths of marketing yourself and making connections online or in person? Where are you at in your business and what are you creating? I would love to know that. I have the pleasure of getting to be a part of what we're doing inside of our incubator program here at Digital Mentors. And it is a phenomenal group of people who are truly dedicated to bringing their vision for their business to life. And it's so much fun to watch and see as Norbert, Jim, and Brian are sharing the framework that we teach inside of our programs and how the participants are absorbing that information and really building out just a clear, defined path for where it is in their business and what they're doing moving forward. Um, so one of the things that I noticed that is very common just across the board in the entrepreneurial realm. Good morning, Tanis. Good morning, Raymond. Hello, guys, is that we tend to really put ourselves in a place of overwhelm. And that's not of our own fault. You know, if you're on social media or if you're in these worlds, there's constantly information coming at you for the right ways to do things, the wrong ways to do things, what you should be focusing on, the platform that is going to change everything for you. You know, like those conversations are never ending and they're always in our face. So it's very easy to get into that state of overwhelm where it's like, where do I focus? Where do I put my attention? Where do I move myself forward in this area? So let me know in the chat if that's even if you're not in that space now, do you sometimes find yourself in that space of overwhelm, not knowing where to look or where to begin, or even in terms of the types of offers that you want to build inside of your business? Maybe you get overwhelmed with where to start first or what to publish first. Let me know if that resonates with you and some of your experience as a digital mentor. Or maybe you're in that space right now. Let me know. Elizabeth says that she loves fall. It feels magical this time of year. She's in Dublin, Ireland. Pardon me. And she's making a new lead magnet and marketing herself, working on connections currently. Fall is so magical. I totally agree with you there. I love that. And I can't even imagine what it's I haven't been to Ireland, so I bet there's a whole other level of magic present where you are. You're making a new lead magnet and working on marketing yourself through connections. That's wonderful. Tana says that she's only been feeling overwhelmed for 10 years. I understand. And Elizabeth says that that resonates, and Raymond, that resonates with him as well. Okay, so one of the things that we talked about inside of our incubator inner circle yesterday, because we have live calls inside of that program. If you are in the incubator program, you get to have live office hours with Norb, Jim, Brian, and myself. There's also tech office hours and different sessions where we're taking you through the digital mentors framework. Um, I think my biggest point that I want to make when we're talking about overwhelm and like what you're creating in your business is that one, you are not alone in experiencing that. That is, in my opinion, a natural part of the process, especially if you're someone who is a creative and a multi-potentialite, someone who has various interests and you're constantly coming up with new ideas. It can be very challenging to be like, this is what I'm doing now. I may have more of an untraditional approach to this because I'm not a type A person where I can make a plan and stick to the plan exactly. It's important to me and my own well being and my natural rhythms that I allow for some ebb and flow and movement and change depending on what comes up on my path as I move forward. So, first and foremost, you need to decide what's most important to you. And in my opinion, that's more related to how it is that you want to feel. There's a million ways that we can get to that point of how it is that we want to feel, and none of them are right or wrong, so you can allow for some fluidity along the way. But get clear on how you want to feel in your life. How do you want to feel during your workday? What do you want your workday to look like? How do you want to flow inside of it? How do you want to feel when you wake up in the morning, when you go to bed at night? What do you want your time to look like and how you spend it? What do you want to have the freedom to do? What do you want your relationships to feel like? Knowing all of that is kind of your end result that you can begin sculpting a vision from. Because if your goal is to have fluidity in your day and freedom of time, you're not going to set up your business and develop it in a way where you have to sit in front of your computer 12 hours a day, 7 days a week to meet that goal. And there are periods of time where we have to hustle to make things happen. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the long term vision, the over time, what routines you want to establish there. Um, so get really clear about how it is that you want to feel in your life. And find if I don't some of us create vision boards, some of us write on post-its, some of us have goal mapping strategies, like whatever that is for you, where you can put in place to make sure that you have that focal point to represent yourself to how it is that you want to feel and that being your goal, do that. Buy pictures, decor, a wide erase board, like whatever it is, where you can have that in your face of like, this is an anchor, this is a reminder of what I'm moving towards and what I want to create in my life, and put it around you as much as possible. And then inside of that, when you're looking at the specifics of your business, let's say you have 5 different offers that you want to pursue, or 5 different lead magnets, or 5 different business opportunities. Put them all on the table. One, ask yourself what your biggest goal is. If you need to generate cash now, because we all get in that place sometimes where like we don't have the funds and we need the funds and we need to come up with it, then that's goal number one. And that informs what decision that you make. But maybe if cash isn't as much of a priority and maybe you have that coming in somewhere else, and really it's important to you to just develop this offer and get it out solid, complete, exactly how you're envisioning it. And that's your primary focus. So get clear on what your number one motivator is and the time and space that you're choosing this. It may be different at different times. And then, based on how you want to be feeling in your life and what that number one goal is, whether it's making money or just developing your offer because it's important to you and you want to get it out there and see it to completion, using those two things, which of your 5 offers is most in alignment with the vision of your life that you want to create and the goal that you're trying to accomplish. And then focus on that one offer first. After that is established and you go through the process, there will be time later on for you to develop the other things that you want to develop. But pick that one and focus on the one that's most in alignment with what you're creating in your path right now. And that will be the easy, not, I don't mean easy like, oh, this is a breeze. I mean, it will have the least amount of resistance around it for you to develop it and see it through. We are very much conditioned for that experience of instant gratification, and especially creatives. Like, I know we have all these ideas and we want to have all of them happen right now, immediately, put them out in the world. And that's just not possible. Nor do we actually want that, because Once you do develop your first offer, your first lead magnet, your first course, whatever, and you enroll people and you complete that process, you're going to have more information. You're going to have more information about how you work, about what it was like to create that offer, about the type of people signing up for your offer, and you're going to be able to integrate that new information into the next thing that you build. So it's really important that you do find one place to focus, choose a time frame for yourself to carry that out. And then once it's done, integrate what you learn from that process into the next offer that you're creating, the next social post, campaign, strategy, whatever you're doing. Excuse me. Okay. Good morning, Anthony. He's tuning in from Facebook and YouTube. I love that. Good morning, Robert. Yes, Flo. Tanis, feeling of accomplishment, everything else follows suit. Yeah, so knowing that like your intention is to feel accomplishment, what would you need to do in the next 24 hours to feel accomplished? And that makes it really easy to make your list instead of it being like all of the millions of things because we don't have time for that. Choose the top one thing or the top two things or the top three things and move in that way because it's directly connected to the goal of how it is that you want to feel inside of your life and your business. Oh, Anthony is redoing his wide erase board. Perfect. He was just going over this today for a productive day. What is his number one goal right now? What is most important to me and what makes me happy? We are so in alignment, Anthony. That is perfect. That is absolutely perfect. What is your number one goal right now? Why don't you guys answer these questions in the chat? This is perfect, Anthony. What is your number one goal right now? What is most important to you right now? And what makes you happy right now? Because I personally, I know that there's like a baseline of sameness, that as our identity as a person, there's some sameness that stays there. But moving and changing and ebb and flow and giving myself space to evolve is one of my priorities. And so, I love thinking of things in 24 hours or 30-day increments or 90-day increments instead of thinking, okay, for the next year, for the next 2 years, for the next 5 years. Because frankly, I don't know who I'm going to be 5 years from now. I don't know where my interests are going to lie. My While there are some common threads, like I have always been in the entrepreneurial world, I could have never predicted that I would be where I am now in my career. This is not what I envisioned for myself, but I love it. And I'm so glad that I'm here and I'm learning so much and I'm getting to share myself in ways that I never could have anticipated before. So that's what I mean by allowing space and allowing breathing room as you move towards your goals is one, like, life is gonna bring you things that you don't expect, and that's not always a bad thing. Sometimes the things that come along really boost you and create momentum and move you forward. I truly feel like since 2020, I have gone through a quantum leap in my career. In 2020, I had just finished stepping out of a 6-year business where I had a brick and mortar space. We had a retail space. I worked with my best friend at the time who was a massage therapist. I led classes, women's circles, meditations. This is not where I thought that was taking me, but that path had run its course, and I just didn't know what was next, and all the while I was doing that, I was marketing my business, I was supporting other women coaches and healers and building their website, managing their newsletter and social media and all that, and then in 2020, I had the opportunity to step onto a team much like this at Digital Mentors, but a different industry, different group of people, and I was able to put the things that I had learned into practice. And then also what I learned there elevated my knowledge. And every job that I've had since then has elevated my knowledge. And even clients that I've worked with or taken on to where like as a singular entrepreneur, not a part of a team, I've learned so much about those relationships and like what works for me as an individual and what doesn't work for me. So make your goal, get clear about how you wanna feel, move in that direction, and allow some room for miracles to come in, for some unexpected happenings to find you that elevate you in ways that you couldn't have planned for. There was no way that I could have planned for this. Elizabeth is going over her goals. This is timely. That is wonderful. Yes, Anthony, give yourself space to evolve. Robert's goal is getting cash, sitting under a tree while watching this. I love that. Enjoying the freedom of choice, live life for today. Absolutely. I love that. I love that you're sitting under a tree as you're watching this. So you can feel the magic around you. Oh, well, this is great, you guys. Any questions that you have for me in the comments about how I approach things, I'm happy to answer them. I think what I really just wanted to convey to you guys today, because this is also conversations that are happening in our incubator circle for digital mentors, is just to give yourself permission to take more time. Okay. And this isn't about putting it off until later, but if you on your plate, you're looking at 10 different options that you have the choice to move forward with, we all know that we can't give 100% of our energy to 10 different things at one time. How we build momentum most quickly is by finding that focal point and putting all of our energy behind it. That doesn't mean that on that path, you have to continue to carry out that path and that choice forever, because you may choose this one thing and put all of your attention and focus and energy and momentum behind it, and then get to the completion of your offer or your program or whatever it is you're leading and be like, I'm glad that I did that. I'm glad that I saw it through, but I also am realizing that I don't wanna do it again. That's not for me. I'm glad I played full out, but I don't want to rinse and repeat this cycle again. And so then you have your answer. You did see your goal to completion. You did move towards how you wanted to feel. You did learn from what it is that you executed. And on the other side of it, you found clarity about what you don't want to do moving forward or what you do want to do moving forward. And then at that time, you can look at what's on your plate again. So I think we're collectively, especially in the United States, we're phasing out of this mentality of I'm going to get a job and I'm going to stay in this job for the next 50 years of my life, because that was once the case here. That was certainly how my parents grew up in, but that's not the plane of existence that we're in anymore. And especially not those of us here in the entrepreneurial space. There is so much opportunity for us to have variety and explore all of the places of our interest and where we're feeling called, but to do it in a way that is methodical and to do it in a way where there's a lot of self awareness around it and to do it in a way where it helps us come alive and learn our lessons. But I don't want you to waste time beating yourself up, feeling like because you pursued this offer and it's not working and it's not happening the way that you thought it was, that you're some kind of failure, because that's not true. I think it's really hard in this day and age, and I've talked about this before from my personal experience, to kind of shield out other people's opinions and how other people are doing things, and honing in on what really works for us and being really clear and really honest with ourselves about what we want to say yes to. Because we're constantly being thrown like this shiny object, that shiny object. This is what you need. This will solve all your problems. Well, guess what? None of it is going to solve all your problems. And some of them are solutions, but they have to be solutions that are in alignment with your vision for what it is that you want to create. Because if they aren't, you're going to put a lot of energy into that space and not a lot of fruit is going to come at the harvest because it wasn't a total alignment for you. But allow yourself to experiment. And before you experiment, get really clear about how you want to feel in your life, how you want to be spending your days, what is most important to you, so that when you choose what it is that you're pursuing, it's in alignment with those goals first and foremost, and you're not choosing them or moving forward with them based on someone else's opinion, someone else's desires, or some guru's opinion that doesn't even know who you are. You know, like you are your own best friend in this scenario. Hello, theory. Elizabeth says that one of her goals for the next 90 days is to create income so that she can cover her monthly bills and redecorate her home. I love decorating homes. My family is the most important thing to me, and being around my children makes me happy, plus creative also. I love that. So, Elizabeth, not that you have to share this here, but one of the things I would invite you to get clear on is how much income that you need to create over the next 90 days. And also what feels good, um, in order for you to receive that income. And once you know your number, here's another thing that that someone else might not say to you. Once you know your number, like, okay, you have your 90-day period, you know that in the next 90 days, you want to develop a stream of revenue for yourself. You know what is in your tool belt that can help you generate that revenue. You also know that you want the space to be creative inside of your home space, and you want quality time with your family and with your kids. So, when you select how you pursue bringing that income in, make sure it is in alignment with those two things of allowing creative space for you and spending time with your kids, because there are some offers that we pursue that consume us so much that it zaps our creativity, or it zaps our ability to be present mentally with the people around us. So be very clear with yourself about that. And then once you know how much it is that you want, and this is a little bit where I'm getting into my woo-woo vibes, but when you know how much it is that you need to bring in, um, yes, pick an offer that you want to pursue and develop, and also be very open to, like, this is the income that I'm bringing in, and I'm open to opportunities that wanna show up to help me get there, that are in alignment with how I wanna feel. Because I tell you, like, I have my own things, you know, my own offers that I develop and pursue, but when I also, in addition to that, open up myself to that money showing up however it wants to, I end up having people reach out to me. They need a website, they need a graphic, they need some coaching support, those types of things. So you can absolutely throw yourself behind an offer and build momentum that way, and simultaneously being open to how the channels of money are going to find you, still in the realm of what is in alignment with what's most important to you. So that's my shiny piece of advice this morning to you, Elizabeth, because it works for me time and time again. Because it's like I'm making an agreement with myself and the universe and God, where it's like, this is what I'm doing, this is what I'm pursuing, I'm going to see it full out. And also, if this revenue wants to come through any other way or in some opportunity that is perhaps more aligned than where I am placing myself right now, I am open to that possibility. Really create some magic in there. Tana says, um, very bad health. She needs enough to pay for medical bills. I totally hear that. My mom has a chronic illness, and I know that the toll that that takes on her. So I would just make sure, Tanis, that because I know with the medical bills and things piling up, like, that's not something that can necessarily be resolved instantaneously, and I imagine, like, around that realm, there's also that feeling of, like, hopelessness, you know, of not being able to get out of it. So, my invitation to you would be to make sure that you have a pocket of your life, of your time, of your mental space, of your energy that doesn't even look at that stuff. And I know it needs to be taken care of, and it will be taken care of and all of that, but you have to separate the 2 energies and allow it to have its time and space in your day, and not completely consume all of where you're at right now, because, it will be very challenging, and I know you probably already know this, to create, to build the offer, to show up in market and all of that from that place of I really need to take care of these things that are swallowing me whole. So I don't know what that looks like for you. I think if it were me approaching it, I would make a mental choice and even on my calendar to be like, I'm not even letting the medical bill stuff enter into my mind until 5 p.m. or something like that, so that you can give yourself the morning and the day to really focus on other things that are going to feed you and lift you up and move you forward. But that does take like a mental decisiveness, a mental strength to be like, I'm just not going there. Like, I can't let that take me over. And I had experienced that not related to medical bills, but in relation to money and like not feeling like I can get out of the hole. And honestly, it took me making like that strong mental decision of I am not letting this swallow me. I'm not letting this define me. I'm not letting it control my days. And and it over time, making that mental shift and mental choice over and over again, the strength did build up over time to where it's easier now for me to be like, okay, I'm going to set this over here and I'm going to look at that at 6 o'clock or whatever it is that day. So I hope that that helps you. And just know that I'm sending you all of the love and good vibes around just bringing peace to that part of your life because I know how heavy that can weigh on you and just people in general. Ashley says, great goals, Elizabeth. I love being with family too. Such a joy and a blessing to be with them daily. Good morning, David. Okay. Having some cash come in while Netflix and chilling. That is fabulous. And that is the best feeling. I earlier this year I was launching my coaching program and I was on vacation with and I was literally like on the beach with my family and I had a person sign up for my coaching program. It was a $1,300 program for 6 months and or no, it was 3 months. And I'm sitting there and like that transaction just comes in and it just felt so miraculous to like have the ocean in front of me and my family around me and just money just coming in like that. It's such a good feeling. Theory says, your approach is well appreciated, Megan, as I think and perceive the same for myself. Yet it is sometimes challenging to get clients with more traditional businesses, meaning with offices, employees, etc., to think that way for themselves and their businesses. Yes. So, Theory, are you someone who has um like a traditional business with office and employees, or is that your ideal customer that you're working with? And this is a mindset that you want to instill in them, but you're having trouble. So, are you the person who's in an office with employees and all of that, or is that your ideal client? Would be my first question. David said his only goal is to live long and prosper. Touche, David, touche. Elizabeth loves her some woo woo. I'm glad you guys are feeling that. Tanis says she was driving. She had a ceiling that caved in a while back, and she said it's allowed her to rely on assistance for bills. That's great. So her issue there is the fear of not making enough and then staying safe in my place. I understand. I get that. And some of those fears that come up are things that have been rooted in us since we were children. So um I think that we all have those places where we're having to kind of be a parent to ourselves to remind us we are safe, to remind us that even if we are afraid, it will be okay. And Tanis, I just want you to think back to all the other times in your life when you had that same fear and like you are still here, you are still moving forward, you are still accomplishing things. It may not be in the way that you envisioned or even in the way that you want, but you are still here and moving forward. So when I get into those places where I'm really afraid of like what's coming next, that's what I try to remind myself is I've been through hard times before and I'm still here now and I was able to heal myself as I did. So and I have no doubt that you have those same abilities. Ashley, you're so welcome. Thank you for being here. The disability is something that you're gonna have to sit with. Even though you don't want to, I would journal a lot about, like, why am I feeling resistance about that? Because if going on disability is going to provide you with relief and ease and the freedom and peace of mind that you're looking for, then you might need to let go of whatever the ego may be holding on to about what it means to be on disability, okay? Yes, Robert said, "For some, disability is okay, and he wishes you well." That's absolutely right. Don't keep yourself from having that comfort and peace of mind if it's accessible to you. It's okay. It's okay to do that. Absolutely. Anthony says that he's sending you good vibes, Tanis. Theory said hello to my dog. Yes, I have a German Shepherd. Tana says, I think we all listen to get inspired and you always hit the mark. Thank you. I appreciate that. I honestly wasn't sure what I was going to be talking about this morning, so I'm glad you are. Okay, Theory, you said that they are your clients and a marketing consultant coach for them. So, first, I would say that the people who you are coaching who are employees and in a traditional office setting, first of all, they have to want to take a different approach. They have to want to feel differently inside of that. And my other question that I'm curious about is like the are your clients usually employees and working in cubicles and all of that, and they're various, like, work for different companies, or are you working with a specific organization and, like, you're a coach inside of that company? Because that's different. If it's one company and you're there supporting these people, that's a conversation about company culture. And that's where the game starts to change inside of that work environment when the company culture is established and everybody is making efforts to align with an agreed upon company culture. Now, if these are employees that you're coaching, but they have different jobs in different places and they're just your clients, okay. And he says yes, that they first have to want that experience for themselves. And they have to get to a point where they are so uncomfortable in how they've been operating inside of their normal 9 to 5 cubicle jobs that they decide, "I can't do this anymore. I'm tired of feeling this way. What do I do to change it?" And that's where you come in. And they have to shift their dedication from being dedicated to how it's always been, what they've always been doing, how they've always been feeling, to opening up a new way of being, a new way of feeling, a new possibility. And yes, it can be a struggle if they're showing up inside of the same environments every day because they're like, how should I expect something different? I've been working here for 6 years and it's been the same 6 years. But as their coach, that's where it's your job to hold them accountable to start to notice what may not be the same that showed up before. Because once we point our mind on something, they've created that narrative. I hate this place. Am I ever gonna escape? I don't enjoy my job, whatever. So they step inside of that narrative every time they go there, and they have to decide, this is not the narrative I wanna create anymore. Even if it's just a shift to, I'm open to something different finding me. I'm open to feeling a little bit better than I normally do. And then moving throughout your day and taking into account what happened, what conversations found you, um, what unexpected moments occurred in a meeting that are in alignment with things showing up differently. So, first, they have to want it. Second, they have to be willing to change their mindset to see things differently. Third, they need to bring in self awareness for how they're showing up inside of those spaces. And third, they need to start collecting evidence and taking account of what is happening in their workspace that is different than what it used to be, or that is more aligned with how it is they want to be feeling. And then for you, I would also advise you to assist them in helping them get really clear on how they want to feel inside of their workday, inside of their everyday lives, because that's going to be the anchor that helps them see, like, oh, I had a conversation with somebody in the lounge where I got coffee that really just, like, hit home that I didn't expect to have, or I got an invitation to be a part of this training that I've never been a part of, and I didn't expect the invitation, or I got the closest parking spot to the entry of the building whenever I pulled in this morning, or I got in the car and my day started off with my favorite song on the radio, and it was perfect, because it is those little bitty things that when we bring awareness to them and start collecting them the same way that we collect all of the negative evidence that seems to be so much easier to accumulate, it builds momentum. They compound on each other over time, and your mental state begins to shift as you start shifting your awareness for what to look for. Elizabeth says that I understand as long as I'm on long-term disability, I can only earn so much, as well as, chose to use it as a stepping stone for where I need to go. Got it. Yeah, so you know what your numbers are, and you can align with that and also be open to where it shows up from. Okay, so they can be employees. Yeah, everything I shared still applies to that theory. Robert says, "You do the work on disability, then launch out of the past. Build, then become not disabled anymore, making the jump." Absolutely. I think we can all relate to financial struggles. Like, we've all had those moments in time. Theory said, "Totally. Thank you for sharing this as it confirms what I explained to them, asking them for openness indeed." Yes. And the other thing is, like, as their coach, I would just be really diligent about not giving them slack, and you don't have to be harsh with them, but calling them out when, like, they're deliberately choosing to take an approach or a mindset that's not in alignment with what they're trying to create, because it ultimately comes down to choice. And of course there are layers of trauma and childhood experiences and upbringing inside of our homes, or mental illness. Like, all of those things play a role in it, but those things aside, if they are handled and acknowledged and there's awareness around it, it's us choosing what we want, because we're the only ones who can take charge of our lives in that way. It just is. It just is. Yes, theory, and then it transfers over, absolutely. He says, "Yes, firm but fair." Yes, because ultimately that's why they hire us as a coach, is to be honest and direct with them, because they have somewhere they want to go that they haven't been able to get before. So, it can be uncomfortable at times, but it's also necessary to be like, "Actually, can I shine a light on what I'm seeing over here for you?" Um, so, yes, guys, thank you all so much for the conversation this morning. It is an honor and a pleasure to be here with you. I am thinking of all of you and sending you all the good vibes for your day, for your week, for your month. Um, and just spend some time this week getting as clear as you can about how you want to feel in your life and what it is that you're creating, and allow your offers to align with that. Don't let yourself get distracted by the multitude of opportunities. Those are not going to go away. For the rest of our time here on planet Earth and in the United States, there will constantly be shiny objects and new opportunities and golden tickets for you to get what you want. And they're all possible paths that you can take, but you need to decide which ones are in alignment with you and what you want and how you want to feel. And that will carry you forward and clarify your path as you move forward. Don't feel like you have to do it all now. Just pick one, point your momentum and energy behind it, move forward with it for the period of time that you choose. At the end of that period of time, look back at what you learned and infuse that knowledge and information into what you create next. But I believe in you. think you guys are amazing. I'm so glad that you're here. And we are here in the member community on this page. If you ever need us, please feel free to reach out. I'm grateful for your time, and I hope you guys have a great day.